Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like PlayStation's got some bad news that they need to spread to everybody else because apparently they are going to be delaying their next live service title called Fairgames, which, by the way, nobody's excited for. I don't know of anybody who's excited for Fairgames, but that's neither here nor there. PlayStation has doubled down and they said that they're going to be focusing on live service video games, and that was even after Concord failed massively and they had to take the biggest L, or one of the biggest L's in gaming history, for everybody to see. Well, meanwhile, Fair Games is being reportedly pushed back to 2026 for reasons. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's absolutely insane that Sony is trying to double down on live service video games after what was proven to be an absolute failure known as Concord. And yet here they are pushing back this game, a video game, mind you, that looks like Payday, for example, and they're like 10 years too late to. I don't understand why they're doing this, right? Just like with Concord being 10 years too late to the team shooter genre, same thing with Fairgames. Why are you putting out a game that looks like Payday, just weirder, and you're thinking this is going to be a massive success because it's live service? I really don't understand. So let's get into this article from The Gamer. But of course, before we do, if you are new here, just consider hitting that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it, and like the video to push us out into that YouTube algorithm. So the summary says, don't expect to see Fair Games anytime soon, as it has reportedly been pushed back to 2026. Word of the status of Fair Games comes from reliable insider Jeff Grubb, who relayed that it isn't in Sony's plans for 2025. Yeah, Jeff Grubb is so reliable that when he said that the Edmonton studio for BioWare is going to be perfectly fine, and that the rumors about them, losing people, being fired and whatnot, and shuttering are false. Yeah, guess what? That ended up being true. They have fired a ton of people from the Edmonton studio. The studio is essentially shuttering from the inside, and it's very clear that his inside source wasn't exactly very accurate. But sure, it's mainstream media just protecting mainstream media. That's basically it, or at least that's how they view themselves, right? That's why they use terminology like reliable insider. Yeah, sure. The live service heist game was originally revealed in 2023, and outside a player survey has not seen any additional updates because nobody wants to play that. Nobody wants to play a live service Payday game. If they want that, they would just play Payday. Like, I don't understand why you are trying to do this so many years later when you should have did it so many years before. They're always late to the game with the live service stuff. Among the games that Sony plans to release for PS5 in 2025 include the likes of Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, Ghosts of Yotei, which is going to be an interesting one, and even a remaster for Days Gone that nobody asked for. Again, this company is remaking and remastering games that nobody asked for. They freaking remastered Horizon Zero Dawn, no reason for that to exist, and now they're remastering Days Gone when they could have just made a sequel. But if you were hoping to potentially see Fair Games, a previously announced live service heist game, then think again. That's because according to Reliable Insider, I laugh every time they say reliable insider. Fair Games has been pushed back to 2026. In his Game Mess Decides podcast, Grubb responded to multiple fans inquiring about the Haven Studios-led project. Then it says it's been nearly 2 years since Fair Games was revealed. Well, that's because, let's be honest, right? Look at what happened after Fair Games. It's been a bloodbath in the gaming industry. When they announced Fair Games, Concord was still going to be a thing, right? And now look what happened with Concord. Look what happened with a multitude of titles, especially live service titles. Look what happened with Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. I think it's pretty safe to say that live service video games are on a very, very tight rope right now, where they don't want to talk about these things necessarily, not out in the open, and they're probably re-strategizing right now. I gotta imagine that they're re-strategizing the game, how to monetize it, how they're gonna bring, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're probably doing that, considering the recent failures of certain live service big IPs that were considered at one point too big to fail. So then it says that, interestingly enough, a survey was sent to PlayStation players nearly 1 year to the day that the game was initially revealed last year. The survey asked players about the types of games they like to play, as well as their thoughts on the revealed trailer. The survey also seemingly ditched the money from the game's title, instead referring to it as Fair Games. Yeah, like the money symbol in the title was absolutely stupid. I don't understand why they would even do that, but again, this is Sony, right? At the end of the day, Sony's exactly not the smartest company in the world. Of course, PlayStation fans likely haven't forgotten about the commercial failure of Concord, a game that was pulled off shelves and led to its studio being closed. In the wake of its failure, Sony then announced it had canceled 2 more live service projects, including a God of War project from Bluepoint. Bro, oh my God, a live service God of War? Are you guys insane? Are you guys seriously insane? Who the fuck wants to play a live service God of War game? I don't understand. Not everything has to be a live service video game. And this is the mindset that is ruining the industry from inside. Aside from all the DEI nonsense, aside from all the woke bullshit that we deal with every single day, one of the biggest issues is this corporate greed that is absolutely taking over the industry and getting in the way of creativity. Nobody wants to play a live service God of War. I don't think anybody would look at God of War and think, yeah, that sounds like a live service game. No, there are certain video games that are known to be single player and should stay single player, especially as a single player experience overall. And God of War is one of them. It's unclear if the internal delay of Fairgames is related to any of these developments, but it's clear that fans won't see anything related to the game for some time, which is crazy because this game is already outdated, right? When they announced this game, it was already outdated. Nobody wanted to play a live service Payday. If that was the case, they would just play Payday. So why are you then doing a live service Payday? And now, not only are you behind when you announced it, but now the game is delayed and it's going to be 3 years after the announcement by the time it potentially comes out. What the hell is the point? You might as well just change it up completely because this is not anything that people are going to support in a long shot. I just don't understand, especially since you have other video games that you could double down on, right? Obviously, like they mentioned earlier, Death Stranding, Ghost of Yotei, remaster for Days Gone. You got a lot of stuff coming up that actually looks good. You got a lot of video games coming out from China that are essentially Black Myth Wukong inspired video games. They all look good. Why don't you double down on those games and realize that your bread and butter is good single player experiences, not live service games? I understand you got excited when you saw the success of Helldivers on PC, but you're not going to always be able to repeat that. There's not enough gamers to play all these live service games. You mean to tell me you're going to have all these gamers playing them back to back to back? That's not going to happen. There's not enough people out there. There's not enough time, especially, and there's not enough money to go around. So right now, Sony needs to double down on what makes them Sony, and that is hardcore, amazing single-player narrative experiences that are experienced only on Sony platforms. At least it used to be. Now it's shared on PC, but that's what they need to double down on. The whole live service nonsense, they got to stop this shit. And it's not just them either. It's other studios as well that are desperately trying to get that next live service cash cow, because that's really what it is. They want another cash cow. They want their own moo. They're looking for the cow and they can't find it right now. And they swear that they have a treasure map, and the treasure map says that the cow is absolutely in a live service video game. You got to find it, but it's not there. They keep looking and it's nowhere to be found. So hopefully they learn from Concord, but I'm sure they're not going to. But I got to imagine that Fairgames being very quiet right now has to do with the fact that Concord was such a failure that they don't want to announce anything about this game until it's absolutely ready to go, because the scrutiny that's going to come this way of this video game is going to be insane. It's going to be bad, and they know it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.